Hi, everyone. It's Kate Byers. Welcome to today's show. I'm excited. We're going to do a two-part series. So this week and next, be sure to tune in because we are going to be talking about two really critical missing links that every successful women especially, fall prey to that is keeping you from success with ease. All right. So what is it? Week one. How many of you out there in broadcast land or listening to this find yourself as someone who's driven, ambitious, successful, second guessing your decisions? Now, I'm not saying you don't believe you can get it done because you know you can get it done, right? Successful women, we have built a reputation, we've built a career, and we've built a success on getting it done. And never in my career did I ever think, can I really get this done? I mean, sure, there was times I bit off more than I can chew, but usually I was like, somehow, some way, I'm going to figure this poop out, right? And I always could figure things out. But there were many times when I found myself second guessing my decisions. Can you guys relate? If you can, put an A in the comments. Come on, be honest, be true. You know it. And women, we do this. Decisiveness is the death to enjoying your success. If you lack decisiveness, if you can't make a decision, live with that decision and feel great about that decision in the moment, you are suffering in your success. Does that make sense? And that was a big part of what created my burnout all those years ago, is I would make a decision and I'd be like, yeah, that's it. Sometimes a bit impulsively. And then I would, was that the right decision? What if I did that? Was I too harsh? Was I not nice enough? Was I too nice? Should I have pushed? Should I have pulled? Second guessing. Did I write it this way? Should I have written it that way? Did I include everybody in the room? Should I have included too many people? Oh my word. And if you can relate, this lack of decisiveness, and it is endemic with women, okay? What we see much more often with men is men who are used to working in the professional environment at a high level much longer than we are. Remember, women, I mean, even though it's been decades that we're in leadership positions, it's still only been decades. For guys, it's been like eons. Okay. So just remember, there's still patterns in women coming up into leadership positions that has you going, oh gosh, if I do that, am I going to be labeled, you know what, in the China shop? Ooh, if I do this, am I being too permissive? Gosh, if I do that, what are people going to think of me? We worry a lot about what people think. We worry a lot about our reputation. We worry about, are we leaning in? Are we leaning out? Guys do not have this problem. Okay. Guys do not have this problem. And you even see it in young boys and young girls. You walk in a room, like if I ask my sons, I'm like, hey, is anybody hungry? Nope. Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they no. One will say yes, and one will say, they don't feed off of each other. Little girls, watch, they feed off of each other. One little girl goes, I'm hungry. And the next one says, I'm not. And then like, oh yeah, never mind, I'm not either. Like what? Like women, we are so influenced by each other and by what people think. And I'm embarrassed to say that, but this happens to me even now. What was it the other day? I was doing something. I was worried about how to respond to something. And it's an engagement, a business engagement my husband and I are jointly involved in. And I took the email to my husband and I was like, honey, what do you think about this? Should I respond this way or respond this way? He glanced at it literally like while he was like stirring some soup or whatever he was doing. And he's like, do this. And he just went back to stirring the soup. Like, he's involved in this. He's got risk involved in the decision too. It's not like he's advising me on something that he's got no skin in the game. He has skin in the game. He made that decision in maybe half a second. Boom, went right back to his life. And I'm like, yeah, but do you think this will happen? What about this? And he's just looking at me like, are you insane? Why are we still having this conversation? He was like, Kate, he's like, what are you doing? Like, he's just like, it's done. Like, I don't want to spend any more time on this decision. He was like, done. So my point being is that men do this naturally much easier, but you can too. You just need to start creating that habit within yourself. And it doesn't happen to me as frequently now as it used to, but my point being is that conditioning is still there because I'm still a woman in the arena going, what's the best decision? I want to get this right. And that's the second thing. And you guys hear me talk about this a lot. Women, we have such fear of failure. And if you are successful and you're driven, you have a lot to lose. Like, let's face it, when you are in a leadership role, when you are in a high paid role, there's not a lot of high paid roles out there, right? Once you get over a certain income threshold, it's not like people are handing those out on the street to just anybody, right? And that's usually a pretty healthy 6-figure income and above. And now all of a sudden, if you screw things up with a poor decision, you got a lot to lose, right? Now, men aren't thinking that way. Men are not like, oh, I got a lot to lose. I mean, sometimes they do. I'm not saying that men aren't ever stressed out, please. But my point being is that as you become more successful in your career as a woman, there's a lot more on this table and a lot higher stakes. And that's why it's so critical that you understand how to navigate at that level. We do not teach women how to do that well. We give them more responsibility. We give them teams to manage. We tell them how to like delegate or how to, manage your team, how to tell people what to do. We don't teach women how to handle the cray-cray inside. We don't teach women how to be excellent decision makers. We don't teach women how to adapt the emotional connection with your career. And that's what is interfering with our ability to make quick decisions, right? The decision that my husband made the other day was one of the options I was considering. I do not lack intelligence, nor do you. So when I talk about decision making, I'm not saying you don't have the capacity to make the decision. Of course you do. The point is the emotional connection with the decision. Do you guys understand that? The emotional connection. Am I doing the right thing? What are other people going to think? What if I do the wrong thing? What if I fail? What if I make this decision and it has a negative impact on someone else? That is an emotional, psychological connection with the decision. And women, we suck at this. We suck at this. And a lot of time people are like, hey, what do you teach people? And I'm like, I teach people how to have a different emotional connection with their work. I teach you how to work at a peak performance. And part of that's going to be your emotion. And part of that's going to be your mindset, your psychology. And people are like, I don't understand what that means. Well, right there's a perfect example. If you're second guessing your decisions as an executive, as a surgeon, as an attorney, you're taking way longer than you need to succeed. And you're suffering in your success. And you know that suffering follows you, because it's not just that it's taking you longer during the day, like, oh, I could have been doing this amazing, thing with my time. That's part of it. Part of it is wasting unnecessary time in the office. But part of it is coming home with you. And so instead of being on the Peloton or out for a run where you're just like, oh my gosh, look at the birds. Wow, look at the clouds, or, whatever, you're enjoying the moment. You're thinking. Like, have you ever just gone for an entire run or an entire Peloton ride and you like the 40 minutes is up and you're like, wow, I don't even remember doing this because your mind has been attached to work and the decisions all that time. That is not downtime. That is not de-stressing. That is continuing to operate at a very stressful level. And eventually what's going to happen is your mind, your biology, your body can't handle that. You're going to break down. You will absolutely break down, right? And so what you want to be doing is you want to be doing the Peloton and you want to be doing the run free of mind. Now, I'm not saying it might take 5 or 10 minutes to get there when you first start out, but it shouldn't be taking you festering all night long about decisions. You want to be able to make a decision from a place of certainty and emotional certainty. Hey, whatever this decision is, even if it comes back to bite me, I'm not going to worry about it because I know what to do and I'll be able to handle that down the road. Does that make sense? Women also, when it comes to decisiveness, we make decisions for everyone in our life. We can make decisions for our team, for our dog, for our kids, for our partners, all the other people in our life. Clear as day. Know exactly what the decision is, don't you? Great. Now you got to make a decision where you're impacted. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. Do you think I should buy the red sweater or the green one? I don't know. Red's just such a bold color. Let me go ask my friends. Let me send the picture to my mom. Let me ask my partner with it. Like, are you serious? Like, this is what we do. Nobody goes to shopping malls anymore, but I used to go to the shopping mall and I'd want to buy something just like a white shirt. Like, how, generic is that? Pair of jeans. I would like walk into the first store, find a white shirt. Oh gosh, it fits. I think it fits. It's a little more than I want to spend. Let me just keep looking. And then I'd go to every friggin' store in the mall, all the way around the mall, only to come back to the very first white shirt and go, all right, I guess it's worth the money. We don't like to spend money on ourselves. We don't like to invest in ourselves. We don't like to make decisions for ourselves because there's going to be huge shame, ridicule, sense of failure, sense of waste, sense of selfishness. That is so not a problem for men. My husband, he would walk straight in the mall and he would be like, white shirt. Yep, that one's good. Or it opposite, I'd be like, oh, that one's kind of cheap. Is that going to look cheap on me? That one's too inexpensive. Maybe I need a more expensive one. My husband's like, I don't care how much it costs. It's a white shirt. I need a white shirt. This one fits. Let's go. He's done suffering. There's no suffering. And then we as women are getting mad at our partners because they're at home playing Call of Duty or out on the golf course or, hanging out with their buddies. They're like, he just has all these hobbies and he just relaxes. And here I am doing all the work. Well, because he ain't worried about all the stuff you're worried about. He does not care, knives down, forks up. Not in my husband's repertoire at all. He does not care when he lays all the bowls down flat in the dishwasher. And I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. He could have done like 6 loads by the time, if he would just stack the bowls. That's just not going on in my husband's mind, ever. He just goes in, he makes decisions, he moves on with his life and he enjoys it. And he has a marvelous life. And as women, we are suffering and suffering and suffering and suffering and suffering because we cannot make decisions. And it always has to do with decisions that are going to impact you. You can make a decision for your kids. You can make a decision for your leader. You can make a decision for your team, make a decision for yourself. Really hard to do, right? Because what if you make the wrong one? Now, where does this come from? It comes from patterns and conditioning. If you are highly successful, you're driven, you're a high achiever, you have that internal drive to succeed, okay, at all costs. A lot of black and white thinking. And when you have been, how do I say this? It's not how you have been taught because no one sat down and taught us this. When you have been conditioned through our culture, through potentially schools that you went to, parenting that you received, aunts, uncles, cats, dogs, whatever, that what is really valuable is for you to be successful. Then, of course, what you're doing is you're always trying to be successful no matter what. Every single decision has to be a success. Every single thing you do has to be a success. Like that's how I operated a lot. It was like, oh, Kate better always be right. Kate better never be criticized. And if you had asked me, I'd be like, no, I'm cool with criticism. Bring it. I can take it. No problem. Tough old Kate, confident Kate, nah, not a problem. But inside, if I got a 4.5-star review instead of a 5-star review, oh, that poop was eating me up. Let me tell you what, if someone looked at me sideways in a meeting, oh, I was going to be thinking about that. I was going to have a strategy for that. And that was never going to happen again. We worry about this stuff. Someone looks sideways at my husband in a meeting. He's just like, wow, I guess they're having a bad day. All right, let's start the meeting. He's not thinking about that stuff. Ever. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Ladies, we have got to be more decisive and we're not trained to be that way. We're not raised to be that way. And now as you have raised up in your career, if you don't go get the training to be this way, you're suffering for success. You're going to burn out and it's going to be miserable and you're going to give away impact. You're going to give away money. You're going to give away fulfillment. And then you're going to be sitting here going, well, great. Well, now I have this really relaxing job. I'm bored. I'm unfulfilled and I'm pissed as hell that everyone else has these great big careers and I couldn't do it. I'm telling you, we see it all day long. So I am not telling you that if you don't want your career, that you have to be in your career. Ladies, do whatever you want. Step back, go be a goat herder. I'm all for it. Okay. But what I'm saying is if you are an executive or you are someone that has a powerful career, a businesswoman, head of your own, whatever, real estate brokerage, whatever it is, and you are suffering for your success, decisiveness, I promise and guarantee you is a big piece of it. And everyone's like, oh, okay, why don't, is it time management? I just need my priorities straight. I need a to-do list. Well, no, you don't. No, you don't. The last thing you need is another to-do list. You got enough to-do lists in your life. You don't need more time management. You've tried all that. Right? You don't need to delegate more. You've tried all that. What you need to do is be more decisive. And that comes with having a different emotional connection with your decisions. You have to be able to own that decision, see with clarity, make it in the moment, and then deal with whatever the fallout is. Because there's fallouts. Not every decision that I make turns out to be beautiful and roses and ponies and rainbows. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? That didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Okay, great. Let's pivot. Let's recalibrate. Let's have an honest conversation with someone. Wow, you know what? That decision did not turn out the way I wanted it to be. I want to talk to you about it now. Women, we don't like that. We want to go, we want to get it done, we want to make the decision once, and we want it to be over with. But that's just not reality. And working at this level, that just creates unnecessary suffering. So that is key. It is key to be a decisive woman. You have to know what you want. You have to know who you want to be in your job. You want to know that you want to know and have clarity that you are going to be decisive, and you want to start making decisions from a place of certainty. I did not say confidence. Confidence comes and goes, and it always will be. I don't care if you're Oprah Winfrey or who you are. Everyone is going to have waning of confidence at times, especially when you're working or stepping into things that are new. And you've heard me talk about that before, right? Like the first time I had to step on stage and speak to thousands of people, oh my gosh, like I had a death grip on the podium. I was sweating. I just wanted the floor to swallow me up. I mean, even though I'd done like tons of boardroom presentations, it was new. Was I confident in that moment? Heck no. But now that I've done it and I went and got some training to do it better and I've practiced it and things like that, now I'm much more confident. So confidence will come and go. So if you think that every decision you make, you're going to be confident in, no, you're not, because every decision you're faced with, you're not always going to have experience in. And the higher up you go, the less experience you're going to have. You're now going to be making decisions from a purview of going, I don't have experience in that particular thing, but here is what my gut and my instinct and my experience is telling me to do for the decision. And I'm going to own it. And I'm going to walk away, and now I'm going to go do something else. And then I'm going to go home and get on my Peloton. And then I'm going to go home and play with my dog or my hamster or whatever you do. And you just enjoy your life instead of suffering for success. Getting to a place of success where you are paid well, you have a job that everyone else is jonesing for, you have incredible responsibility and impact. That is sweet if you can enjoy it. But if you're not enjoying it, and you are constantly double thinking and overthinking and overworking yourself, not only are you driving your teams crazy, you're driving your family crazy, you're driving yourself crazy. And it's no wonder women are stepping back. It's no wonder women are like, peace out. I'm not going to go up any further. This is hard enough. It is not about the job. It is about how we are working. The way we are working, ladies, is not working. And there is another way, but you've got to invest in that training and getting this information in you to where it just flows out of you. You invested in what? Like, I don't know, probably an MBA or some sort of college degree or some sort of trade school, or, you've invested time and energy into other things. And as women, we are the worst at investing in ourselves. We go to college and then that's it. We invest in everyone else. We get a new roof. We get shoes for our kids, everywhere else. I'm telling you, this decisive thing is a huge key. And I would have told you I was super decisive, and I was not. I was constantly going home, eating extra large pizzas and gobbling up bags of M&Ms, rethinking my decisions over and over and over again. Now, it got me a great result. People loved my work. People loved my presentations. People loved my decisions. People loved how well thought things out. I mean, let me tell you what, I got a lot of praise for that behavior, right? Because even though in the background, nobody knew how crazy Kate was and all the stuff I was doing, when I showed up Monday morning, here you go. This is what I came up with. Everybody's like, oh, Kate, you're so brilliant. And I was like, yes, I am. Meanwhile, my daughter's been yelled at all weekend. My dog hasn't been let out. I have been eating junk food. I skipped all my workouts, and God knows I wasn't having any fun. Do you know what I'm saying? Well, I guess I was kind of having fun because I like to work, but I wasn't like going out with my friends or doing anything else. All I was doing was working, driving myself insane. So that's a big problem, is because when you are acknowledged and praised for this work you're doing, the last thing you want to do is change how you get it done, right? Because you're like, well, but it's working. Like, I'm successful. Like, people like my work. And it's like, well, yeah, but what if you could do that with less time and less effort and less energy? Like, that's worth it to me, right? It's like Tiger Woods with his golf swing or whatever, right? Like, Tiger Woods was at the top of his game. Why did he recreate his golf swing? Oh, because maybe we can get a little more out of with a new golf swing. Like, you see athletes do this all the time. They're at the top of their game, and then they're constantly refining. And sometimes they will completely rework their strategies for success. Women, we never do that. Nope, sorry, went to college, got that, I'm done. Oh yeah, I went to that program my company sent me to. Ladies, invest in yourself, invest in your career, learn these new tools. Learning to be decisive from a place of emotional certainty not confidence, is key. Key. If not, you will continue to suffer and suffer and suffer for your success until eventually you step back, until eventually you burn out, until eventually your relationships blow up, until eventually your health gives out. Like there will be a time, I experienced it, all of our clients experience it, where something in your life breaks enough for you to finally say, okay, maybe there's a new way to work. Does that make sense? So critical, so critical. So if this is you, if you're someone who has a big, bold career and you need to protect yourself and your career from burnout, and you know you are crispy around the edges and you are suffering in your success, please stop. There is training for this. There is a new way for this. Get on the call with one of our coaches. We will get you clarity on what's going on for you and what's possible. If we can help you, sweet. If we can't, we have all sorts of references and other places we can send you that might be a better fit. All right. We want successful women at the top. We want you to stay and be thriving and be healthy and be a role model to your teams, your children, and for the next generation of women to come. Cool. All right. It's been fabulous talking with you. I will see you next week for part 2, because it's not just